Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that beautiful lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 35, round number 6, as we head to the Temple of Speed at Tifosi's home track. It is the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. We had quite an epic battle in PSF2. Hopefully we'll see the same in PSF1. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me once again in the commentary box is Mr. James Head. James, how you doing?
I am doing really, really well, Jess. Yeah, PSF1 I think is going to be very interesting tonight. It's the Temple of Speed. 78% of the track I think can be taken at flat-out speed throughout the entirety of the lap. And we've got a new championship leader in Urpek. Very excited to see how everyone gets on tonight.
Yes, Urpek currently leading the way on 43 points after last week's race in Austria, which proved to be quite a close affair between quite a lot of drivers. And then, of course, Max, who is reserved now in this tier, he's still in second on 34. Closely followed by Aurelian in third place. He hasn't picked up a win yet, but he's shown that he can be consistent on his day. Benza picked up loads of poles this season, still yet to pick up a win, but we know he can do it as well. Kongan sitting there in 5th spot. Nando picking up victory as well earlier on the season on 22 points. We've got Louis, Jerome, Tom Kazizel pretty much doing really well, especially in the last couple of races, and showing what he was made of in Austria last time out. And then we got Marcos in 11th, Keke in 12th. Then we got Marlon, Stefano, and an interesting development which is being made. More Boat decided to take a break from F1 for a bit. He's no longer racing in PSF1 anymore, which is a bit of a shame, but he is reserved. So Corey, I believe, will be there as a full-time driver. Then we've got Stefano in 17th, Cameron Dowd in 18th, and Wiener in 19th spot. But yes, even though it's about a 10-point gap between Urpek and Aurelian, still quite close between a lot of them.
It is quite close. Yeah, Max obviously leaving to explore Horns on PC. Sammy Chempsey's also left as well since we were last live. Sammy Chempsey, of course, down at 13th position in the standing, so he's left. Mubarak's taken the break until 2024, which is why obviously he's backed out. But Urpek taking a second position last week in Austria in what was probably arguably one of the races of the season so far. It was fantastic to watch. Nip and tuck racing throughout the field. And of course, Kazizel was the fifth winner in 5 races from last week. And coming into the Temple of Speed, this is all about speed. This is all about everyone going for it, literally on their laps. Judging by how drivers are actually leaving the pit line right now, looks like it's going to be a dry race as well. But Urpek leading the way. The only penalty, by the way, that was actually granted from last week as well was a 5-second penalty for Francesco. That was in an incident with Marlon. He got 2 licence points and a 5-second penalty for causing a collision, moved right, exit turn 3, and made contact with Marlon, causing both of them to spin. What we caught, I think, on stream, Jess, as well. But that's the only penalty. Doesn't affect the points, doesn't affect the overall positions. He drops to 12th as a result instead of finishing in 11th position. But the drivers are out on track. First minute of qualifying already gone. Should be very interesting to see how everyone gets on out on track.
Yes, indeed. Pretty much everybody is going out on circuit. And the first man that is out on the track, Cameron Dowd will be probably happy to see this. It is, of course, Cameron Dowd, so who's scoring some good points recently, currently in this tier, and was a PC F1 podium sitter not so long ago, like I think about a few season or two ago as well. So we'll see what he can do around Monza. First dates back to about 1922, where it hosted an Italian Grand Prix for the first time. Not Formula One, believe it or not. It used to be around 10 kilometres, this circuit, and it included a 5.5 kilometre road section, similar to today's layout, and then it was a high-speed banked oval, which you could just about see on this year's game. Not a lot, so it has quite changed due to safety reasons, but now this track is 5.793 kilometres, and it's one, in terms of time, one of the quickest in terms of racing, so it's going to be very interesting to say the least. And like we saw in PSF2, we're going to be quite open in terms of where they're going to start on the softs or the hards, which is what we like to see. But James, I'll let you take us through a lap on board with Cameron Dowes around this lovely circuit.
Yeah, Cameron Dowes, one of the experts, I'm going to say, around here in Monza, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight. Let's see if he can make his father proud there in the chat. On the run down in towards turn number 1 at the Retafilio chicane. Hard on the brakes, about 220 mile an hour, carried on to about 70 mile an hour coming through the chicane. And nicely done from Cameron Dowes. He's running low fuel. This might be a thing in qualifying. Now coming through Curva Biasono or Curva Grande to you and me. Now coming through that right-hand turn number 3 and then towards the second chicane. Very much a chicane that will catch you out. The Della Rocha chicane, 26.2 in that first sector. Again, having to really take on the slowness coming out of the speed, out of the exit of the corner. Looking very good though. So now comes in towards the first Lesmo and then in towards the second Lesmo. This is looking like a very nice lap so far. He might have just lost a little bit of time through the Lesmo section. Seemed a little bit hesitant. He's coming up on traffic as well in the terms of a McLaren, maybe a Haas and a Williams further ahead as well. But Cameron Dowes in this middle sector, 52.3 in the middle sector, exactly where you want to be. About Stefano was already retired. I think that's in the pit lane where he might have retired. I think he has a penalty from last week as he now comes up the hill in towards, or comes up into the run, even in towards Parabolica. Curva Alboreto, as it's now known to the Italian fans, named after the legendary driver Michele Alboreto, as Cameron Dowes now comes through the final corner. The Flying Scotsman 2.0 on the run to the line, and it's an 18.4 to start off the night. Not bad, but we're going to see quicker laps onto that, definitely, Jess. As you're on mute.
And we're starting to see purple first sectors from the likes of Gil. Now, when was the last time we saw him? He was the PSF1 Season 26 champion. The first time I'm commentating on him this season. And he's definitely showing what he's made of at the moment. No one seems to be beating him right now. We've got a few people coming across the line to finish their lap times. I believe it's to the Red Bulls going up to the line. And Rallin is one of them who's currently sitting third in the championship standings. And up to the line he goes. He goes third overall in the qualifying standings then. And then we got, I believe, one of the Aston Martins who stayed in 5th position. Then we got one of the Mercedes. And then we got one of the Alfa Romeos, which is Gil. So he goes up to the line. He's not purple middle sector, but is it going to be enough to snatch pole? No, he lost all that time in that final sector, it looks like. He got a 26.2 in the final sector. So, oh, no, it was the middle sector. He lost about 3/10 in the middle sector. That's where he lost it, and he didn't look too comfortable through that middle sector. What about Ryderdale? Let's see what he could do. Is he? Oh, he's invalid. He has invalidated his run. And we got last week's race winner about to finish off his lap. And he's saying a 26.1 first sector, 26.2 middle sector. So looking quite comparable compared to the rest of the grid as he comes up to the line, taking the shortest run possible. 1:18.6, P3 for McLaren. And it is Cameron Dowes, the first man to set a time in this session, still top of the board.
Yeah, still top on the board. Kazizzle, by the way, fitting into a very minute gap between Marlon and Arali in there. Look at how close it is from Marlon.
Wow.
All the way down to Francesco. The top 9 out of the top 10 are covered by less than a 10th of a second. Add into that Volakongan, he's also around a 10th of a second off as well. But it's very, very good qualifying session so far. Cameron Dowes very happy with his lap. His father will be very happy with his lap as well. Urpek, I was on board with Urpek. He looked very, very shaky coming through the first sector. And 18.7 is not where he wants to be right now. Unlucky for some, 13th position behind Chizu Tom, behind Volakongan, both of course in the Mercedes. It is very, very tight here in qualifying. But Cameron Dowes currently out on top. And Jess, I said about it last week in Austria, where it was such a short run on the lap. A 63-second lap it was around there. This obviously a little bit longer. But the closest in qualifying definitely going to be hard. And Cameron Dowes to Marlon, that 10th and a quarter that he's got over Marlon is not a gap to be actually warned about, because anybody else could try and improve behind. It's going to be difficult to try and find an improvement so far on Cameron Dowes' lap, but when the track evolves the times will evolve as well. And I mentioned in a small watch-along that we were doing before this race in PSF2, a 17.9 would be possible. So no pressure.
No pressure. I believe it was at 18.3 was pole from PSF2, and I predicted at 18.2. So I was close by a tenth. So it just shows that these drivers have it in them as well currently. Stefano is very keen to get out on circuit. He's obviously replacing more Borat for the rest of the season. A bit of pressure is coming to Tifosi's way because, of course, Nando got the win in Hungary. Could be looking on course to be the first repeat winner. Stefano's looking to get his first win in this tier. As, of course, is other drivers too. We, of course, got the two AlphaTauris. It's kind of technically their home track, but I think they're more home to the likes of Imola more than anything. But I don't know where they are. I don't know which home track people belong to, whether it's this track or the likes of Imola. But they still count it as a home track anyway. We'll have to wait and see. Let us know your predictions in the chat. And that's the earliest I've seen an illegal blocking, James. I wasn't expecting it to be this soon.
I mean, I'm not surprised there's an illegal blocking, put it that way. But this early in the session, I think we had it, about 4 minutes left to go? Maybe even less than that in PSF2. So, yeah, it's a little bit surprising. But the Ferrari in behind Nando was actually trying to get past him. So I think both of them were in a little bit of a who's who. Who goes first? It's actually Nando that's the first out on track now. The Ferrari there, Stefano there in second. Back, by the way, is in the chat. They had the charity event, the Mobile Cup, going on over the weekend. Raised so much money for charity. Fantastic effort to be a part of. Jess, you were part of it, I know, as well. I sadly wasn't. I sadly was unavailable for it because of my commitments in League of Europe. But it was fantastic to see the money raised, and full credit to everyone who was involved with the MOBA Cup. And I think one of the drivers that was involved in the MOBA Cup was Nando, and he's coming in towards the right hand of turn 1, then to the left hand of turn number 2 at the Rettifidio chicane, in towards Curva Grande he comes. It's Cameron down to the wide on top, Marlon there in second, Cazzizzle there in third. So close, though, at the top end of the field, as I say. Marlon to Francesco, a tenth of a second, even less than that, as Nando improves in the first sector. So he's looking good, and he's purple out of everyone. You're on mute again.
Believe it or not, Nando, I need to leave the mute button away because every time I touch it, I forgot to unmute it. By the way, Nando was racing on the PC in that event this weekend as well, so maybe a move to PC on the cars potentially for next season, or maybe he wants to do for PS for one more season. I don't know, but we're not even halfway through this season yet, so it is really tough to call at the moment. Let me get my lap times going as well, so I can see if they're purple or not. Gill's still purple in the first sector, so no major moves there for Nando. I think we may not see that much improvements in these next few laps, but you never know, they could prove us wrong, as Nando goes in the pit lane, so he wasn't happy with his lap. Not really that surprising right now. And we've got my timings on my telemetry is a bit delayed at the moment, so it's hard to see who's purple and who's not. Bola Conga's not purple. He has unfortunately invalidated his lap. And by the way, 70% of this lap can be taken at full throttle. I even said in my notes that ERS can be a huge issue because you burn so much and it's hard to recharge around it. Just like what we saw usually around the likes of obviously Zandvoort, Qatar as well, where you burn so much ERS, probably more than Monza. But it is a high-speed track. It is to be underestimated. Francesco goes up to the line and he goes fastest. 118.448. Something I was not expecting, but look at the gap. We saw it 3 tenths in PSF2 was the gap between everybody. Will we see less than that in PSF1? Remains to be seen. We won't see that with Ryder Dow as he's backed off and he had a bit of a spin and he's going to get marbles on his tyres now. That's not good, but Benza goes fast. Already now comes across the line in P2. We've got more people up to the line. I think we got a Williams of Urpek, it looks like. Urpek comes across the line in P3. Then we got Marlon, who comes across the line in... Marlon's just about to start his lap. My bad. It is hard to keep up with on the lap, but there's just so much going on. And Benza is definitely proving that he's the quali merchant. He's got to be the race merchant, surely. He can't just be the quali merchant all the time.
No, he's really improved Benza, honestly. He has absolutely proved himself. Keki, by the way, going third. Big statement that from him. He's quite strong around this track. Cameron Dowd, I was following on board with, going fourth. Radadal is back into the pit lane as well. Corey was improving on a lap. I think he just came off one. Ryan the same as well. Just trying to see if there's anybody improving. Kazizel is. Marlon is as well. Marlon's through into the middle sector split. Kazizel's already through that, and he's 900ths up in that middle sector. Marlon up in the middle sector by 700ths of a second to Kazizel, currently outdoing Marlon. Is he going to try and outdo the likes of Francesco and Gil as well, potentially with this? Kazizel, last week's race winner, Qatar's race winner from last season as well, on the run to the line, goes 8, goes in between Francesco and Gil. Marlon to follow through. But yeah, you just mentioned Marlon's just invalidated coming through Ascari. Wiener, by the way, is out of the session as well. Cameron Dowd had to avoid him because Wiener crashed coming on the exit of Ascari. He got caught on the inside curb, on the exit of the curb, and then he's trying to go left, and then the car's just gone right, and he's off in the grass. Quite a way on, actually, from the corner. But Wiener out of the session. The Austrian will definitely be disappointed with his crash. But Benz is out on top already in second. Keki there in third right now. Going to be very interesting to see how the drivers still get on out on track. And you said about an 18.2, Jess. We're on an 18.2 right now.
Yeah, that was the time I predicted in PSF2. So I'm very impressed that they managed to do it in PSF1 right now. I'm gonna predict the time it's gonna be in PSF1, 18.0. I don't care what digits follow after that. I think it's gonna be an 18.0 for the drivers. They usually find, I think, at least a few temps as well. So I think it could be that. Let us know your predictions of pole in the chat. Who do you think is going to get it and what pole time at the moment? It's Benzo out on top, Aurelien in second and Keke in third. We've got a lot of drivers heading into the pit lane. Who wants a bit of PSGL throwback as to what happened in the last few seasons? The first time we raced here for a while, season 27, Shazoo Christmas took the victory. I think it was one of his only victories, from Valentin Bruffaert in second and Philip Bouters in third. Oh, that is a throwback. That is definitely a throwback there. And then season 29, it was Jack Laverty taking the win from CRG Leo in second and Mirko Suriano in the third. And season 31, my first season commentating in PSF1, Tiger Hardy winning from Legend Rosenberg in second and Shazoo Tom in third. Shazoo Tom only in 14th at the moment, so the man I was expecting to be up there near the front is not doing very well. But Wolakonga is just about to go for a scurry to finish off his lap.
Yeah, he is indeed. He's up, I think, in the middle sector as well. 1500ths of a second. So he's not really finding much improvement. This is the fear of actually coming around Italy and running on the set of soft compound tyres. Wolakonga, I'm not sure if he's actually running low on fuel or if he's actually backing off his lap here. But that was a little bit of a shaky exit. He's going to run to the line, though. Is he going to improve? Yes, up to 10th position. So good improvement in the end. Found a 10th and a half at least. Stefano as well. F7R is on a lap. The Ferrari on the run towards the final couple of corners, of course, filling in from Mubarak tonight. Nando being the full-time driver. He's also just got on a run, coming to the first sector, avoiding all of the traffic, it seems, as Stefano's bailed coming into the pit lane. Nando's first sector, however, 8.5 tenths down. So it looks like he just came off a lap, 1,000th of a second behind Urpek. 2 race winners right next to each other. Going to be very interesting to see. In fact, actually 3 race winners next to each other, because Marcados is right behind them there as well. But Ben's out on top, Aurelien in second, Keki there in third, and it is that aforementioned Red Bull pairing of Aurelien and Jeroen, who I believe are now first out on track for their final runs, and it's going to be very intriguing to see how the drivers get on. I fear, though, Jess, coming into this session and into this qualifying session, we saw it in PSF2, drivers did improve, but only minimally at the end of the session. It was enough for them to get an 18.3 on pole position. Now on an 18.2, my fear here will be in PSF1, because it's so tight, drivers may fail to improve and may invalidate their laps.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we've seen that much improvement in their final runs in all the tiers, even the PC tiers, when I was watching those over the week as well. So, you know, they just got to find the tiniest of margins, really. And we got predictions in the chat. Matthew Whiteson is saying 18.2, 18.24 to the exact. So he's predicting to the nearest Humrup? Yeah, Humrup. And Cover saying the one cutting turn 4 curb right will get pole. So that's going to be interesting to see how that fares as well. Yeah, turn 4 is a lot easier on this game compared to previous games. They've done that a lot better, but some people may beg to differ on that front, of course. But Benzer's had the most poles this season. We've had 5 different winners so far. Will we have a sit or will we have a repeat winner? But we are about to get underway for some final stages of qualifying. They're not allowed to give the toe to each other, teammates. Slipstreaming is banned in PSGL, so if they get caught doing it, they're going to be in a lot of trouble there. We've got another grid penalty for illegal blocking, but don't worry, that's going to be removed because we'll be having a lobby restart. So, Aurelian, going to be the first man to set the benchmark time in qualifying for the final part, and he's got to find at least a few hundredths of a second to snatch pole from Benzer. We've also got his teammate right behind him. You've got to be careful not to get the situation. Wollongong is not going to be able to improve. He is retired for the session. But the sector 1 comes at you very quickly. He's a few 100ths quicker than his previous best. 26.066. A few 100ths quicker, actually, than Benzer's first sector. This is looking good.
It is looking good. It shocked me because I thought it was down in the first sector, but he's ran wide there coming through the first Lesbone. Now puts him offline through the second Lesbone. Again, just that snap of oversteer costing him a little bit of time. It's only going to be thousandths of a second he's getting costed, but we'll see this middle sector split if he's lost any time. He has. He's 7 thousandths down. Those 2 oversteer moments through the Lesmo's costly. Lovely, though, coming through a Ascari right on the curb, though. Nearly invalidates on the outside. Not be surprised if he actually backs off this, because I think he's going to lose all the time now. Up the hill in towards Parabolica. Up the hill in towards Curve Alboreto. Coming through now through the right-hand return number 11.
Oh,
and
he's hit the
fallen into
wall.
wall. Horrible crash for a rally, and in the wall he goes. Benzer, by the way, is not improving, so we could see a shock for wall position here. Keki's not improving. Cameron Dowd just 1300 up. Urpex up in the first sector as well. Markonos is down. He's just invalidated as well. Cameron Dowd, I think, might be the man to watch out for. He's there in 4th position right now. His middle sector is 700 down, but he's still in around the range of where he wants to be. But he's snaps coming through Ascari, and he's in the wall. Cameron Dowd's out of the session. Urpek, though, was a 10th and a half up. The championship leader is cooking here, but he's not anymore because he spins to Ascari and he's in the wall and he's out of the session. Urpek is there in 6th. Everyone is getting cost coming through Ascari. Markonos there is 8th. Deal is improving by 14 hundredths of a second. Rodadol's up 52.4, but it's going to be nowhere near Benzer's pole position. Everyone else is crashing. It's like the Wall of Champions has hit us here. The curse of the Wall of Champions here in Temple of Speed. GL now on the run to the line. Let's see if he's going to improve. Improves to 11th. Rodadol improved in the end in 13th. My word, 5 thousandths of a second in the end. They didn't even improve. Benzer out on top. Kazizzle second. Aurelian there in 3rd. But the main takeout of... Yeah, Keki in 4th as well, coming down in 5th. The main takeout of that session, though, Jess, is everyone pretty much, when they were improving on their laps, bottled.
Yeah, there's some people calling it the Wall of Death in the chat. I'm going to have a new name. Wall of Ascari? Does that have a similar... No, that doesn't have a similar ring to it. No. So, yeah, Wall of Death in Monza. And it wasn't just one person. It was just like 3 or 4 people losing it at the moment. There was only a few people improving, because Izzle being one of them, but not enough to reach pole position. I think it was 5,000 separating 1st and 2nd, and then it was around about and just trying to see the gap between everybody else. We'll let you know once we get our grid as well. F2 poles at 18.3, so it was slightly faster than F2, the F1 pole, but only just. So Benzer on pole, Kazizzle in 2nd, Owen in 3rd, Keke 4th, Cameron Dowd in 5th, Urpet down in 6th, but he's only 1,000th quicker than Nando, so that's going to be an interesting fight between the 2 of them. And we got Markonos, Marlon, Francesco, Gil, top 11. They're about 2 tenths separating each other. Then we've got Wollongong, Ryder, Darwina, Ryan, Tom, Euron, Corey, and Stefano with a 5 tenths difference. And then Stefano not seeing a lap time because I believe he's had a penalty. So that was your qualifying. The top 8 is going to look very spicy. We are going to have a lobby restart, but we are going to have a bit of a word from our title sponsor, GT Omega, before we head to a little bit of talking from us. Welcome back to PSF1, and not many people improved on their qualifying sessions. Everyone just ending up hitting into the wall. Let's hope we don't get a similar situation to what we saw in qualifying in the race. We've got myself and James Head taking you through the action, but Bender yet again delivering. And usually you want to start at the front in Monza. You don't want to be starting at the middle, so Bender's picked a good place. What's it going to take for Bender to get rid of his race curse and turn his pole to a race victory?
Honestly, he just needs to, well, not only be the best person out on track and finish P1, but I think he needs to control the race to an element. We saw in PSF2 how DRS train was so effective around this track, and how the undercut as well for Will Murdoch and Newfit worked out as well. And I think Bender's got to take that. His starts are not the strongest, however, so Cazzizzle and Aurelian are going to be right on top of him down in towards turn number 1. My fear is with Bender, he's got the home support. He is an Italian driver at the end of the day. He is, of course, an OP driver as well in an Italian team. So, and he's in an Italian car, I think, an AlphaTauri as well. So if that is nothing to go by, it is going to be very interesting to see how he gets on. But my fear would be, he's got Cazzizzle alongside him on the front row of the grid. We know how Cazzizzle is strong off the start. That, for me, is going to be a big fear for Bender going into turn 1. If Bender's not leading towards turn number 1, it's not all doom and gloom, but I think he needs to lead turn number 1 because he can just put himself at mental ease for really assuring himself and assuring his engineer and whoever else is behind him, really going forward and seeing how he can cope with that mental pressure. And trust me, I've sat on pole around here before. Mental pressure is everything, especially when you fall completely down the field from wheel spinning off the start.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember I was sweating at Monza for an event to qualify for the Red Bull Racing Esports team. And I remember doing about 51 laps to qualify for one of the races. Unfortunately, I couldn't make Monza, but I'm kind of glad I didn't make Monza because I would have done horribly anyway, so I qualified for Japan instead. But yeah, it just takes so much effort to get your lap consistently right because it's so short. People may think, oh, it's so easy doing a shorter lap. Nope, it's not. It's just about finding that rhythm. Even esports drivers find it hard at times to get a lap perfectly right at one time, and sometimes you got to think, if you nailed it right one time, how did you do it? Because sometimes you can technically forget at times as well. Hopefully my camera is back going again. It's been playing up all weekend, but luckily we got it going again as well. But yeah. Any surprises from the session just now? Because I think we saw the likes of Tom, who did well in season 31, I believe, only down in a lower position. So he's got a lot of work to do.
Tom's actually down in 16th. Tom is 16th in the end. It's that the Penthers Bahrain meme, I think, coming out at 16th. 16th, yeah, Tom's down in 16th in the end. Gilles the 1 and 11. Jerome, I think, is a little bit of a 1 as well. I think he's down in 17th. I don't think he deserves to be there. He is so strong around this track. It's going to be very interesting to see how he copes as well. He's got Tom ahead of him, he's got Ryan, he's got Wiener, and he's got Ryderdal ahead of him as well. So that is going to be good. Going to be good for us, by the way, on the back row of the grid, because we've got Stefano on the back row of the grid well. So that is going to be very interesting in terms of us for commentary. But a reminder of the standings as we are looking to get ready up very soon indeed. Erpek leading the way on the championship, 43 points for his name. Max, of course, now on doing PCF2. Congratulations, of course, to Max for that move. He's there in second on 34. So 9 points actually between Erpek and Max. But Erpek to Aurelian is 11 points, and that's going to be crucial, I think. How Aurelian has not had a win this season. He's had he's had a third place finish, 2 fourth place finishes, and a 5th place finishes. He has been Mr. Consistency himself. We could ignore the 11th position in Las Vegas after the absolute carnage that occurred on the final lap of the race there. But last week's race winner, of course, Cazzizzle, he's up there at the front end of the grid. We've got Tom, who's obviously won a race this season. He's well down the field. We've got the likes of Benza as well, who's been consistent. 2 3-place finishes this season, and both Hungary and indeed in Las Vegas. So he is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. It's all about consistency around this track, Jess. It looks like Ryan's getting ready up now, so we are very much good to go in terms of the racing action. But I want to know from you guys, and we want to know from you guys in the comment section, who do you think is going to win this race in PSF1? I'm immediately going completely off the cuff, and saying we're going to see a win from OP Nando.
Oh, where's he starting?
7th.
He's starting 7th. Well, he's in the middle, not gonna lie, so not a bad move. So I literally can't remember the order. I know Ben's a starting pole, but I'm gonna go for last week's race winner. I know Kazizzle's gonna hate me. I think he won last week, if I remember. But Kazizzle, I think he's gonna win again. It's his 2nd win in a row.
Interesting. Well, he's starting on the front row of the grid. He's alongside Benza. He's got a rallying behind him though. That's my big fear. A rallying's normally very quick off the start as well. I was going to go Cameron Dowds, but then I thought, well, I'm already too biased.
You're probably going to jinx him otherwise.
I'll probably jinx him otherwise, and his father will probably come at me in my DMs and just be like, why have you just predicted my son for P1 again? You do this every single week and you just ruin his chances. But then again, it's all going to be all fair and nothing more. Hopefully the drivers get going out on track. Tib going for GL for the win. He is an utter G-League fan. He is a part of G-League, is Tib. He's down in 11th position, but he has won a PSF1 championship before, so he's got that experience.
Yeah, and Misipala saying Keke clear, which is, I think he's a Keke fan, and Mitwi going Benza as well. So interesting predictions there. Looks like we got a dry session, a dry race, which I'm kind of relieved about because usually a wet Monza does not go very well. I've seen what happened in one of the races over the weekend where there was issues. Not gonna say what. And who remembers what happened one season in PSGL on the PC? Again, issues. Not gonna say too much into it, but we've had some classics in PSF1 and in PSF2 as well when I first started. And I'm sure you've had the same as well. So there we go. Don't forget, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you get notified when we stream every Monday and Thursdays for F1 23. And of course, we've got GT7 on every Tuesday. Final plug for our sponsor, GT Omega. 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout, or you can click the link in the description or use the command GT Omega in chat. And you can get maybe one of those lovely chairs that we're sitting on right now. I won't be surprised, James, if they do like Christmas deals or something coming up soon.
I think they have got Christmas deals ongoing. Of course, you can use code PSGL at 5% off at checkout. They have got Christmas deals going on. They've got the new Zephyr chair out there as well, which is one of the chairs where it looks absolutely amazing. So if you want an early Christmas present, go and beg to your mum and your dad that you want a Zephyr chair or want a GT Omega related product. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy and very willing to buy it. Hopefully they've got the money and hopefully it doesn't set them back.
Or if you, or you have someone in your family that earns a lot and you say to them nicely, you know you love me.
Definitely so.
Yeah, so basically, just tell your family nicely that you want a nice GT Mega product, and there we go. Thank you very much to our partners at GT Mega. We couldn't have done it without you. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well at PremierSimGL. Keep us up. You can keep you kept up to date on all PSGL latest news. E-Series, not that long to go until the end of the season. Now that has gone very, very quickly, so make sure you check that out on Wednesday night with Nathan Richards and Joshua Birch taking through the action on that one. And by the way, the next race on Thursday is on the PC side. That is Singapore, which we'll be going to next week. So we're going from one of the shortest on the calendar to one of the longest next week. I think I'm going to need a lot of drinks for that, James. Water, to be precise.
Especially, yeah, Singapore, obviously, with the changed track layout as well. So much better on this game. I did a league race around Singapore on commentary, and it was absolutely unreal. And hopefully we get to see the same level of racing as what we are going to get tonight. Here come the February lights, though. We are going to go racing very soon indeed. PSF1 Season number 35 is underway here in Monza, and Benza gets a fantastic start because Zizzle off the line that was stronger, and he's going to be side by side with him down in towards turn one. But I think Benza's just going to scrape ahead down into the Retafilio chicane. Zizzle to the inside line, though, gets to the inside line and gets the lead of the race. Brilliant stuff. Oh, there's carnage in the back of the rally and gets spun by Cameron Dowd. I think Keki involved in that as well. I think everyone is clear through. Corey has had a drop further down the field. Urpek is all over the back of Keki. Now coming through the Curva Grande into the Della Rocha chicane. Nando there in sixth, Markador's there in seventh. They're going side by side, 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark as they come through the first sector. Because there's a lead. Benza in second, Cameron Dowd in third. And that contact with Cameron Dowd, putting them back between Urpek, Keki. Nando was the one who got caught up in that as well, because Zizzle there leading the way. Benza there in second, Cameron Dowd's there in third. Everyone is clean through in the Les mode. Side by side though as we go. Francesco and Wiener are going side by side. Marlon, Aurelian, Nando are going side by side down the hill and towards Ascari, because Zizzle leads at the end of lap one. Jess, Benza second, Cameron Dowd in third. Fantastic start, but in the end, drama through the first chicane.
Yes, a lot of drama happening at the moment. We've got a mixture of strategy, which is what we like to see. Nobody, pretty much everyone has opted for a different strategy. There's no one that's on the same strategy. We've got a few people starting on softs. That's because Zizzle, Cameron Dowd and Urpek, and Aurelian and Francesco. We got Stefano on the softs as well. We got Corey, Euron, and Markados on the softs as well. We got Alpine versus Williams side by side heading in towards turn number one, and he's going to be late on the brakes. I think a few people are going to be late on the brakes here, as well as the Red Bull tries to take advantage of that as well. And he could get 2 cars into one. Surely not. Aurelian is third place in the championship, and he does. Aurelian is up into 8th place on the road. Great stuff as Cameron Dowd also goes side by side with OP Benza. Those softs definitely working out for Cameron Dowd, but those softs got to make it to around about lap 9 or lap 10 before they go on to a set of the hard compounded tyres. And safety cars, like we were saying earlier, is very, very likely around here. Rydell going side by side with Volaconga through Curva Grande, not Curva Grande, the Lesmos. It's quite difficult to tell at times. It is the Lesmo, so it's Lesmo 2. Now heading towards this back straight here. DRS will be enabled next lap. This is all so close. And look at this, because it's already broken free of this train. 1.5 seconds already between himself and Cameron Dowd.
Yeah, he has indeed. He's using up a lot of battery as well. Same with Cameron Dowd. They want to try and get ahead because they know the hard compounded tyres are going to come in from around lap 8, lap 9, and therefore put them under pressure at that point. Markados is looking good on the back of Keki. You mentioned there, Urpek and Benza going side by side, 2 by 2 though, as they go. And Urpek's through and he's into third. Benza through down into fourth. Markados there into fifth, and we could get 3 wide with Aurelian and Francesco running side by side down the straight. And there is Aurelian going for the move on Nando. That's late on the brakes, but that's a lovely move by the Red Bull. Through and he's into seventh. Francesco was the one actually trying to get 2 for 1 last time around, and actually, speaking of which, he's going to try and get 2 for 1 here on the back of Nando. He's on the back of the Ferrari, coming through Curva Grande, up now the run in towards turn number 4, but I think he's not going to risk it for a chocolate biscuit or a custard cream or a bourbon. Francesco there in 9th, Nando there in 8th. Kazizzle leading the way, but look at the gap now, Jess. 1 second out in front for Kazizzle. Cameron Dowd is desperately trying to stay within DRS range, and I think he was just 3,000th of a second out of that DRS range. Kazizzle currently holding sway out in front.
Yes, I did say about the battery, they got to be careful with the ERS management because otherwise they're going to lose out so much. It's hard to recharge. So I think we could already see the lights flashing on Cameron Dowd and Kazizzle. That means they're below 10%, which means the power that they're going to get in the battery is not going to be very good at all, which is going to pretty much have great sight for Urpek because he's going to start chasing down. I'm going to keep an eye on Urpek's battery at the moment. He's about 40, 30% battery currently, but he is dropping a little bit, so I wonder if he's going to be saving it at the moment. And there's a few points in the chat that DRS is critical around it. Yes, it is. It saves. You'll be able to save a lot of ERS by just using DRS. So ideally, you want to be in that DRS train. As Francesco almost got a bit slidey heading towards turn number 1, but now they're heading towards Curva Grande. We've got Red Bull versus Alpine versus Ferrari versus Williams. We've got Marlon trying to go the long way around. And now he's going to head towards turn number 4, which is the first part of this very tight chicane. If you take that curve right, it will settle the car very nicely indeed, but Marlon chooses to stay behind Nando for now. It looks like they're pretty much even on pace, but bearing in mind some people may choose to run different tyre pressures around this track. because they think that it's a short track, they can run little to no tyre pressures, but it's really up to them to see what they can do. Cameron Dowles, by the way, has caught massively to Cazidle up front, 0.4 per second. He's loving life, but he's only got about 40% battery on his car, so he's got a lot of work to do. Cazidle, I think, in the 10%, so Cameron's got a little bit more to play with. I would say between these top two, game on.
Game on indeed, but they've got Urpek, the championship leader, right in behind, hunting there in third, and he's got 51% battery as well. So Urpek is definitely going to be on top of these two sooner rather than later. Ben's there in fourth. He's saving battery nicely. Margaros isn't. He's on 14% of ERS right now in the top 5. Cameron Dowd's on 20 as he goes in towards Turn 1 because he's on 14. So Cameron Dowd's definitely saving his battery better at this early stage in the race, but it's Cazidle there leading the way. Cameron Dowd in second, Urpek there in third. Everything is going to get going possibly towards the end of the first stint, possibly towards around about lap 9, lap 10. That's when you could see the first pit stops coming in, certainly. You referenced there as well, drivers potentially coming in for set of hards. I think they could come in for set of mediums. There'll be softs to mediums, I would imagine, the strategy. The mediums will be wearing off towards the end. Mateo, though, did that in PSF2, and he actually won, I think, in PSF2 a little bit earlier on, and I might have just ruined the race result for anyone. Spoiler alert, I might have just ruined the result for anyone that wants to watch PSF2, the one viewer that is there in the chat. But Cameron Dowd's on the back of Cazidle, definitely saving his battery a lot better. I now nickname him Flying Scotsman 2.0 because he is a Flying Scotsman, as he nearly catches the curb coming out of Ascari, and that was him. If he was any closer to the right-hand side curb there, he would have been in the wall, and that would have been a safety car.
Yeah, but luckily we've got no safety car as of yet, touch wood. But I think most people are around about the 20% at the moment, as we got a few unhappy bunnies thanks to you spoiling F2 for them. So I think you're going to have some words said to you at the end of this stream from someone, and you probably know who, as Aurelian gets past Keke up into 6th spot. So that was an easy move for him. Keke has dropped down on those hard tyres, but those softs and mediums will wear out later on, so I think it's just going to be a little bit patient and save some ERS potentially for the rest of this stint. Meanwhile, Cazidle's still out on top in P1, managing his battery all right at the moment. He's on about, I think, 20, in the 20s right now, so he's doing A-OK right now. So as long as he can keep them behind, that should be good. And look at Urpek, he's caught up like no tomorrow, and he's got about similar battery to Cazidle. He's got a really good gap in his championship, but he definitely wants to extend it a little bit more and replicate what we saw Joey Van Bossel do last season, turn his F2 championship into an F1 championship. It just shows the skill gap at the moment. Stefano, by the way, in the background gets past Wiener for P12, but could we see some moves heading towards this back straight? I don't think so. There's people not going to be very brave into the Alboreto curve, but I'm keeping an eye on those Williams to see if he can go for the move. But Benja and Margaros also looking quick.
Yeah, they are looking very quick indeed. And I think Benza might actually go for the move on Urpek here. Pulls to the inside line, down in towards turn 1. If they're not careful, they're going to be 2x2. Noah's Ark, Cazidle defends for the race lead. Cameron Dowd's in second. Benza's coming like a scalded cat to the inside line, in towards turn 1. Can't get the job done, and Urpek goes around the outside of him. 2x2 like Noah's Ark as they come now through the Retafilo chicane at the end of the Della Roggia. Benza gets the better exit. He's through and he's into third. He's ahead of Urpek. Urpek will not mind that at all. He's got now a hard runner ahead of him, but now Benza wants to get ahead of Cazidle. This could end in tears if they're not careful, but Cameron Dowd's leading. Cazidle there in second, Benza there in third. Well managed by every single one of those drivers as Benza is right on the back of Cazidle. And because they've gone too hard too early, now the soft compound tyres are really coming back into the lap of Benza. Benza there in third, doing a fantastic job. He's on the back of Cazidle. Is he going to look for a move down in towards Ascari? He might, but I don't think he will. He's just going to remain in behind, I think, for now, running down to Ascari. Cameron Dowd's still escaping the way. Those two, remember, Cameron Dowd and Cazidle went very hard in terms of their ERS and their tyres. Think now, Jess, that is becoming now a question of, if not when, are they going to come into the pit lane? Because Benza there in third is right on the back of them.
Yeah, I think Benz was deciding, you know what, I'm going to try and save, just let these guys on a soft push, and then I could push a little bit later on. But he is not giving up at the moment. He comes to try and get past Cazzizzle, and it could be an AlphaTauri 1-2, but Urpek's going to try and follow through in towards turn number 1. It could be 3-1, like we saw in PSF2 earlier on as well. How did they not make contact through there? That is incredible. We're seeing Cazzizzle trying to defend from the right-hand side line perfectly, and Bender, well, he struggled a little bit. Markados is trying to get past Urpek. Urpek is struggling out there on those softs. So I wonder if he's been pushing a little bit too early right now. Because is he going to try and defend from Bender? Well, Bender is not going for the move as of yet. But there's just so much action happening at the back. Markados doing a great job on those mediums, by the way. They, to be honest, are the best tyre to be on right now because the softs are starting to wear off a little bit. So maybe Markados is going to do the opposite strategy. Mediums to softs. We see Urpek trying to defend from Aurelian now. Yeah, I think Urpek has been pushing. He's got damage. Oh, okay.
I think he's got damage. I was on ball with him, actually, and he clipped the rear right, basically, of Benzer going in toward damage. I think it is probably green damage or maybe slightly orangish. It does affect the car around here. It is a high-speed track, and unfortunately for him, if Urpek decides to come in the pit, you can tell coming through this, it's left side end plate damage coming through Parabolica. He's desperately trying to get in the pit lane, and he does. And unfortunately for him, he was in the back of Benzer, F7R and OP. They're going to have their words cut out tomorrow night. But here comes Benzer on the back of Cazzizzle in towards turn number 1. Cazzizzle looking to the inside line of Cameron Dowd as well. They're side by side. Markados is backing off this, thinking, go on, guys, you make a little bit of contact, and I'm going to come for both of you. As Nando's got a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, and I think Marlon has been spun as well, coming through turn number 1 as well. Markados, though, still side by side with Benzer. Benzer now to the outside on, and Cazzizzle running up the hill and towards turn number 4 at the Della Rocha chicane. They lean each other slightly. They're not going to end up surely going through there side by side. They do. Cazzizzle there in second. Markados, though, absolutely chomping at the bit. The OP man going up the inside of his teammate. Hand of rage. They're rallying, getting in there as well. This is absolute helter-skelter action here in Italy, and nearly Benzer and a rallying in the wall, but Cameron Dowd leads. Cazzizzle second. Markados there in third. Markados waits his turn. He is through. But you've got to feel sorry for a rallying. Jesse's all the way down in 7th, and there goes Nando to the inside line of Benzer.
Yeah, to be honest, James, this order is shaking up like a madman. Keke is back from 7th to 4th place. Markados is from, I think, about 6th to 3rd. And we've got likes of Bender already and dropping places. This is some really great action from PSF1, I have to say. Apart from Las Vegas, the driving standards have been a lot better this season from a lot of our drivers, which is a testament to how much they've improved season after season. And look at this, Bender's going to try on the attack once again, heading towards turn number 1. I think he's going to be boxed in by the likes of Aurelian as well. But Aurelian has to back off for a little bit as Bender to the outside line is going to be tight through towards turn number 2. I think we can see Aurelian trying to go through the middle of both of them as they head towards Curva Grande. No, doesn't look like it at the moment. So Nando is going to try and push on to get past Keke, which is easier said than done. I think we could see some side-by-side action in the background with the likes of Wiener and Stefano. Rena getting past Stefano in towards turn number 4. And all they make a bit of contact there. It's just unsettling Stefano's car a little bit. So unfortunately, Stefano's dropped, I think, a couple of positions as Corey gets past him. So I wonder if Stefano has picked up some damage.
Yeah, it might be left side unplayed again, potentially on the car. He looks fine now. It might just be the tyres rubbing off with him running wide. Francesco, by the way, the F7R man, is in the pit lane. He was onto a set of medium compounder tyres. He's just came out of the pit lane. He's going to get a big undercut compared to everyone else as Tom flies by on Stefano there for P15 as well. Nicely done. Everyone's got very good car control. No exception rather than the rule here in Italy. Nando, though, is beginning to drop behind the back of Keke. It's 9/10 of a second at the minute. Benzer's in trouble here as well. This split happens. Nando and Benzer are in trouble. They're with Aurelian and Jeroen in behind as well. Aurelian's going to bail into the pit lane. Benzer gets past down. Nando realises that, and he has to go for that move because Izzle's looking on the back of Cameron Dowd in towards turn number 1 as well. Oh, Nando's very late on the brakes then to turn number 1, nearly catching me off guard. But Stefano in the pit lane, Aurelian also in the pit lane. They're both going for a set of medium compounder tyres. And the pit stops, Jace, compared to F1, where compared to F2 even, which were happening around about lap 12, lap 13, these are happening a hell of a lot earlier than what I expected.
Yeah, I think we were predicting maybe about 3 or 4 laps time, James, in our notes. And as you can probably tell, me and James prep very extensively each week for PSGL, because we take things very, very seriously, and we think, oh, that's going to be the lap that they're going to pit. Oh, this is going to be when the optimal tyre pace is, and then it goes completely out the window, and they pit at different times. As Jeroen gets past Nando up into 6th place, don't forget Nando still has that time penalty to his name. And it's interesting to see how those hards are going to do. Are they going to go on to a set of softs or mediums, or are they going to play it safe? I think some drivers will want to play it safe, thinking that they can get those tyres to the end and maybe not push too much on the softs. But if I was them, I would be bold and go on softs at the end, around about lap 20, I would say, because they're making those tyres last 11 laps, which is crazy. I don't think I would do that on those set of soft compounder tyres. As Margaros gets past Kazizel up in towards P2, so he could be a shot of this race victory. And don't forget, his last victory was quite a long time ago, and he was fighting for the championship last season. Just missed out. Yellow flag. That's Tom. That's Tom that's had a bit of a moment ending towards turn number 1. Corey being passed by Stefano. Wiener's heading to the pit lane. So, yeah, I think it was Corey that must have spotted the spun. So there we go. So we've got a few people making their way throughout the field already. Don't forget, we still got the pit stop still to go. Make sure you like this video and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you are new. Here are the penalties, by the way. The 2 drivers that had penalties, Corey and Nando, they have 6 seconds to their name.
Yeah, one of them, by the way, predicted by me in the chat, and has already got a commentator's curse over their head. It's the Portuguese man that I'm on about, sadly. I literally ruin anyone's race. Somebody said, NLR Tom's there, said, don't talk about Keke. I am going to talk about Keke because he's doing a hell of a job. He's there in 4th position right now. Kazizel there in 3rd. He's on that set of softs, so Kazizel will be coming in the pit lane, I would think, very soon. Keke has not actually lost a position. Marquinhos nearly loses the car coming through Parabolica. That's a brilliant save from him. And now the front 2 are in. Cameron Dowd and Kazizel into the pit lane, who qualified 1st and 2nd. They're both into the pit lane. Keke now can set after Marquinhos. Marquinhos has gained 7 positions as well. There's been 2 silent assassins in this race as well, as I'm calling them. Jeroen in P4, GLG in P6. They are having phenomenal runs so far, but the fear is everyone now who has got an undercut, the likes of your Aurelians, the likes of your Urpex, the likes of your Stefanos, are going to have a huge undercut on everyone else. And speaking of which, Aurelian is already ahead of Cameron Dowd. He's already ahead of Kazizel, so that is a big undercut from the Red Bull's perspective. Urpec as well could get Cameron Dowd's right side of a second. Cameron Dowd though has got 40% more battery right now compared to Urpec, so that's going to be interesting in the longer term of this race. But only halfway through here in Italy. Here's the roll call. Marquinhos leading from Keke 2nd, Benjamin 3rd, then Jeroen, Nando top 5, then GLG, OP Ryan, Rodadal, Stefano and Corey top 10, Volokongan and Tom, the top 12 haven't been into the pit lane. The rest, however, that I haven't mentioned have, as Corey is through on Stefano up into 9th position. That's down in towards Ascari just before the corner. Aurelian there in P13 with Urpec, Cameron Dowd, Kazizel, Stefano, Wiener, Marlon and Francesco. You have to feel sorry for him after his damage. He's there down in P20. Everyone still continuing on. Myself, James Head, and Miss Jessica Ball in the chat joining you for this box. As now Keke, the NLR man, hunts on the back of Marquinhos. He's hunting like Carrier for that Eurovision title, as Benza is into the pit lane as well. But Keke hunts like Carrier for that Eurovision title. He got robbed in 2023. Keke through and he's into the lead of the race.
Keke's doing a great job in P1 on those hard tyres, but he's got to stretch it out for as long as he possibly can. And he does know that the ones that have been on those newer mediums will be pushing and pushing until the very end to make sure that they can get that nice undercut. Because the more that they stay out, the more that the undercut will be powerful. They'll gain, I think, about 2 seconds per lap at times. So that's going to be absolutely huge. So Keke has got to get a move on. So is Marquinhos as well. But they're thinking that there could be other things going on as well. I would expect the ones still on hards and mediums to go to a decent amount before they go onto the softs. There's no point in them pitting now unless the ones on the hards are going to go onto a set of the mediums. Or they might be predicting for a possible safety car. I'm surprised we ever got a safety car yet. I was predicting there would be a safety car lap 1 in PSF1, judging by the Las Vegas standards, but we haven't had one yet, touch wood, and let's hope that we could do the same, as there's some quite close action in the mid-pack then as well. We've got Cameron Dowles right on the back of Urpec. All right, now Erpek with that early undercut because of his damage, but Cameron Dow's on the fresher rubber. Surely it's going to be advantage Cameron Dow's in at that AlphaTauri. As Keke, by the way, has come into the pit lane. We'll see what difference that's made between his situation in just a moment. But here comes Cameron Dow's around the right-hand side of the Alboreto curve, also known as Parabolica to you and me. It was beautiful stuff from him. He's going to keep that lead, but Erpek could get the slipstream from Cameron Dow's. You're all allowed to do that in the race. Cameron Dow's could get past Aurelian maybe to the inside. Yes, he does, up into 10th spot. Now, we've seen quite a few. What's happened here?
Kazizzle down the inside of Erpek through turn number 1. That was a Daniel Ricciardo Honey Badger S10 from Kazizzle. He's there on the back of Erpek. They're side by side coming through the corner. But I think Kazizzle's just going to wait. He's put Erpek now in a whole sense. And I think Kazizzle's realised this because Erpek is so slow on this set of medium compounded tyres. Aurelian and Erpek have gone, Cameron Dowd and Aurelian even, have gone through him as if he wasn't even there. Erpek is struggling here. The championship leader is in strife here in the Temple of Speed, and he's nearly in strife there because he has a huge mistake coming out of Lesmel 1, now to Lesmel 2, because there's a all over the back of him. He needs to go for this move. Erpek is not happy. I'm not sure if he's had his front wing change or whatever. I don't think he has. If he's got that damage, it's definitely telling on a wearing set of medium compounded tyres.
It is.
Because Kazizzle now has to hunt after Aurelian and Cameron Dowd, but Erpek in strife, championship leader, does not want to win another race. As Jeroen and Nando, by the way, they're side by side down the straight. Jeroen and Marquinhos for the race lead. Giela's into the pit lane as well. But there goes Jeroen to the race lead. Marquinhos second, Nando there in third. And Jess, these guys haven't came in the pit lane yet. They're only going on one compounded tyre now, and that's a set of softs.
Yeah, I think there's no point in them going on to a set of the medium compounded tyres if they got some left, because they're going to lose so much time. They're just going to have to go onto a set of the soft tyres. Meanwhile, we're watching Stefano and Erpek in towards turn number 1. Stefano gets a job on Erpek, and OP Stefano doing a great job. A huge undercut from the Haas driver. We got Bender as well on Erpek. Yeah, Erpek must have not repaired his damage. And my advice to you as well is, do not leave it on auto if you got front wing damage, because I think if you have the that was a bit of contact there. If you have the slightest front wing damage, and fair play for them letting them through. But if you only have the slightest of wing damage, it won't repair it. So set the repair wing damage to yes, and it will repair your front wing regardless. I learned the hard way when I was doing a race a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, just make sure you set it to yes, and you'll be absolutely fine. Meanwhile, Keke has passed Erpek. So yeah, surely the minor front wing damage that he's got has have him lost, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Jeroen has gone into the pit lane.
This should be, I would imagine, for set of softs. They can't go on any other tyre, to be honest. Nando's still Marquinhos as well, just for the race lead. They're going onto a set of soft compounded tyres. Set of softs will wear around about a 6.5% rate per lap around here, compared to the mediums, which is about 5.5%. So there's about a percentage difference in terms of the tyres. But because Jeroen and Ryan have came in the pit lane, there's a rally in there is on the back of Cameron Dowd in towards turn number 1. Not going to get the job done there. But Jeroen and Ryan, with them coming into the pit lane now, they're going to be behind the 8-ball. They're going to be behind everyone else that's on that fresh set of mediums. They're going to be so quick on that set of soft compounded tyres, but they're not really going to go anywhere because of the traffic, essentially, that is in front of them. So they are going to find themselves in absolute trouble. They're going to be at the bottom end of the points, I would think. Going to be interesting to see how it gets on. Erpek, by the way, is still continuing on. I think his engineer has probably told him, if he has got damage, stay out there, because if there's a safety car, you're back in this race and you can get that front wing damage repaired. It's definitely left side, I think it's definitely right side end plate damage rather than left side, as I said earlier. He ran wide, coming out of that right-handed corner. Indicates to me it's on the opposite side, so it would be on the left side, the left in plate even, where he's picked up that damage. It was a very hard hit on the back of Benzer as well, I may add. There, unfortunately, find themselves in strife. Championship leader is not going to be happy with that. Nando, though, was going to be happy. He's coming into the pit lane, and now he is from the race lead. Marquinhos there staying out. Volokongan, Stefano, Coriol staying out. There, I think, a guaranteeing a late safety car. Somebody that isn't, though, was Kazizzle, because he's side by side with Aurelian.
Kazizzle going to try and get the late lunge that he's looking for to potentially get a net P2 in this race. He did very well at the start to be leading for most of it, but he wants to be leading now. As Kazizzle up into 7th place on the track, but a net P2, and now he's going to chase down Cameron Dowd. But Aurelian is not going to give up without a fight. He's like, I want to get my first win of the season. I don't want you to get 2 race wins on the bounce. I want this to be 6 winners from 6 races. Through turn number 4, doesn't look like it at the moment. I'm trying to remember what our predictions were. I predicted Kazizzle. Who did you predict, James?
Nando, but look where he is.
Yeah, Nando is in 18th. So mine is, I think, a bit more realistic than that. But for Kazizzle's sake, let's just hope that he doesn't spin it into the wall. Otherwise, my curse is gone as well. But let us know your thoughts in the chat, who you think is going to win this race. And I think there's people agreeing with me in the chat. Never put it on auto. So, yeah, never put it on auto. I think only put it on auto if Mark tells you to pit because of damage. So, yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of pits, leads nicely on to Markados coming in. Stefano's staying out, so Markados is not waiting for a safety car. But that undercut is a bit more powerful. Even though with people coming to the pits, we've got the likes of Cameron Dow's because it's all passing through. And we could see some slipstream vets heading towards turn number 1. Oh, this is very tight. We've got Kazizzle that could get Cameron Dow's almost, but Rayan could get them both in towards Curva Grande. This could be amazing stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to put NLR Tom under pressure, by the way. Keki is there in 9th at the minute. It's a net P5, but he's on much fresher tyres compared to Aurelian, much fresher tyres compared to Cameron Dow's and Kazizzle. He is just waiting for something to happen in front of him, and then he can jump on pretty much like Markados did in the first half of the race, where he jumped on going up to P3. Keki is hoping for the same thing, to go in for a net P3. He's driving very, very well at this stage. As I say, I don't want to commentators curse him, but he is looking very strong compared to Benza, even compared to Aurelian. He is looking very strong. Cameron Dowd there is looking on the back of Tom as well. Tom, I would imagine, will come in the pit lane this lap around to get out of the way of the Shazoo boys just to try and let them in. Or he could give Cameron Dowd a little bit of DRS, which potentially could happen as well, as your own picks of a 3-second penalty. That's coming out of the Scary where he picked that up. Kazizzle on the back of Cameron Dowd, but Cameron Dowd is getting the DRS on Tom very comfortably indeed, coming out through. Are the drivers in? No, Volakongan, Stefano, Corey all staying out. Tom is definitely going to be in the pit lane, does not want anything to do with this. And Kazizzle now, Cameron Dowd for the net race lead. The Scotsman against the Brit against the Scotsman. The 2 former PSF3 racers back in the day are going to go line astern towards turn 1, but Kazizzle holds sway. And I think Kazizzle for now is just holding on the back of Aurelian, thinking, do not try anything. You and my former teammate ones don't.
I think that's a good advice to have between those two as well. I won't be surprised if they go for the move maybe towards the end of this race as well, but we know that Aurelian is going to try and catch up. If I were them, don't push too much on those swarm memes, because otherwise they will start to die soon. Just save now and push to the very end, as long as you can stay within this train, because you never know what could happen. There could be some safety cars that could change everything as well. I did put up the positions gained currently as well as Volakongan and Stefano going side by side is showing that those warm memes are definitely not the tire to be on right now. So
Keki?
Maybe going on to a set of the soft tire is Keke having a nice battle with the likes of Bender as well. That DRS train is growing and growing and growing. And don't forget, in PSGL, top 10 score points with first place getting 16 points, and the championship is getting very, very close as well. We got 8 laps to go of this Italian Grand Prix. Make that 7 laps to go of this Italian Grand Prix. We've got Volakongan that's leading on track with Stefano in second. And Kazizzle is going to try and get the lead, the net race lead from Cameron Dowd. And he does it up into 4th spot.
Oh, Keki! That's Keki. Sorry to cut you off there, Jess. Keki was going around the outside of Bender into turn number 1. How on earth they didn't make contact, and how on earth Keki was not forced off track there, I do not know, but they have lost time a little bit. Bender and Keki are still in there. Again, speaking of Silent Assassin, Wiener is in there. Stefano's in there. Even Nando and Yorona are in there. They can get their 3-second penalties removed if they feel like it. I think Nando definitely cut the corner and was forced to cut the corner, so he might get his penalty removed if that is the case. Cameron Dowd's still all over the back of Kazizzle. Kazizzle has got one up on him right now. The Brit currently they're in P4. The top 3, by the way, still haven't come into the pit lane. They are absolutely wearing their tyres out to the cliff edge, quite literally.
They want a safety car.
They want a safety car. They need a safety car, but I don't think it's going to come from anywhere right now, because everyone's in control of their car. Everyone's in control of their races. I don't think a safety car is going to come. So I think all of that is going to put them against the 8 ball. They're going to be fighting with Tom towards the back end of the field if they come in now. So this is what they're risking. This is what their reward is. And now Stefano and Corey are into the pit lane. Keke on the back there of Benza, going to go side by side down the straight, but it's actually Benza on the back of Aurelian on the back of Cameron Dowd, and there goes Cameron Dowd for the race lead on the back of Kazizel to the inside of turn number 1 at the Retafidio chicane. Even Cameron Dowd's third, he's into the net race lead. He's got Bolakongan ahead of him. Guess what team he's in, Jess? Shazoo. Cameron Dowd in Shazoo. Kazizel in Shazoo. It's a Shazoo fest, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Volakongan. I wonder if Volakongan's going to do some tactics there, maybe to get Cameron Dowd's DRS, but no. What's the word for team interference? I don't even know. Yeah, that word. You're not allowed to do that in PSGL. You will get told off, especially with the championship finale. So I don't think Volakongan will do that because you're not allowed. But we got the likes of Shazoo, then we got F7R, OP, and a lot of OPs in the top 10, not going to lie as well. Gil could be up there in 11th if those...
Oh, Keke!
Here comes Keke in towards Ascari. It's going to be very, very tight. They both almost made contact. My, oh my. That could have almost ended in tears. That could have almost ended in someone going in the wall. But unfortunately, there's damage from one of the cars. Who, I think, did Benza get damage there? I think he did.
I think he did. I'm just trying to try through. I thought it came off. It's actually Jerome that has got damage. It's left side end plate damage for Jerome. Thought I saw a red end plate come off the car. I thought it was Gilles at first, but it's not. There goes Cameron Dowd. Wiener, Keke, Nando, they're all going side by side. It's a side-by-side fest here in the Temple of Speed as they're 3 wide and towards turn number 1. In the background, has forced off track there as well. I think is Stefano getting forced off track. He's luckily cut the corner though, and he gets away with it. Marvel's there as Tom is out of the race, but that's in the pit lane. Tom has retired into the pit lane. Volakongan's still leading. Kazizel second, Cameron Dowd in third. Gilles and Keke are side by side as well. Gilles getting the job done. He is really cooking now, the G-League man, ahead of NLR's Keke. Markedos there. He's 7th. He was 11th on qualifying. He's going to be up to 6th as well.
No. He was 11th a lap ago.
And he's 7th because of all of that came out of Ascari.
Yeah.
Mad. Absolutely mad.
That's PSGL PSF1 for you. As we've got Markedos and Keke going side by side in towards Ascari now. Markedos getting moved done nicely and takes the curve really well, in fact. And he's up into 8th position. And the yellow flag, by the way, is the AI car of Tom. And it's a shame where Tom finished in 3rd in season 31 around this track. And now he's not going to be getting any points. And Tib must be loving Gil at the moment in chat. He's going vamos right now. To be honest, that's what I would do at the moment, as we got Volakongan, I believe, the last driver to go into the pits. Everyone else has done their mandatory pit stop. The Cameron Dowd gets past Kazizel in towards turn number 1 as we got Gil side by side. What a move! What a move from Gil in towards turn number 1. That was brave, and I think a few people in the chat saying Gil is risking it. He's definitely risking it. Whoever said Gil for the win in the chat is doing very brave things. And this could be probably a very brave strategy. It's Markedos trying to get past Wiener. We're seeing people that were in the mid-pack trying to take advantage of the ones squabbling near the front. If you squabble too much at the front, the ones in the middle are going to try and go for the race victory as well. But we have to wait and see.
And I've just realised who's the man in P3. Nando's there. He's right on the back of Kazizel.
With a penalty, though.
He's got a penalty. He'll probably get that removed, though. I think it was side-by-side contact between Nando and another driver. I can't think of who it might have been, but he's on 6-lap pressure tyres compared to Kazizel and to Cameron Dowd behind. Aurelian Gilles in there as well. KK, they're in 8th position. He's there in 8th position on the back, but there's so much going on in the background. Benza, Ryan, your own side-by-side, Stefano side-by-side as well. Cameron Dowd's leading the way, but for how long? Because here comes a rampaging Brit once again in Kazizel. Is he going to look to the inside line in towards turn 1? No, I think this is the calm before the storm coming here in Italy. Actually, Kazizel was looking to the inside line there. I thought
he wasn't going to go for it.
He's warning the man in front of him. He is warning, yeah, you're going to come. But here comes Nando on the back of Kazizel. He's now coming through Curva Grande, right on the back of Kazizel, right on the back of Cameron Dowd as well. This is going to end up, I think, being a 3-way fight. Aurelian and Gilles are not really involved in this. Gilles on the fresher tyres is definitely going to be involved towards the end. Yeah, you never know. You never know in terms of this. But Nando there in 3rd. Cazzizzle there in second. Cameron Dowd's though leading the way. He's just beginning to pull away. He's got 80% of ERS. Cazzizzle's got slightly more than him. Nando's got 31, and now he's attacking on the back of Cazzizzle, running down in towards Ascari through the Cover del Seraglio. And Nando might get both, but he actually doesn't risk it in towards Ascari. Cameron Dowds leads, Cazzizzle second, Nando in third. Final 2 laps of the race about to begin. Buckle up.
No safety car. Or VSC at all. Which I have to say, around Monza, it's one of the first Monza races where we had no safety car.
Side by side.
Gil and Nando, oh my goodness, he kept it on the road just about. How on earth do they avoid contact there? Remains to be seen. A fair play to everyone's car control around it as we got Aurelian trying to get past Gil now, side by side in towards turn number 1. Cazzizzle's going to try and get maybe I know what Cazzizzle's doing. He's going to wait into the final lap, but he's under pressure from Nando and Gil in towards turn number 1. I wonder if Cazzizzle should have fought for the move past Cameron Dowles in towards turn number 1. Instead, because Cameron Dowles is increasing the gap up front, all that squabbling is going to be like, thank you very much. I'm going to be allowed to increase the gap a little bit as Marcados is past Aurelian up into 5th. So pretty much anyone apart from Nando in this top 5 can pretty much win this race. I did say before the start of this stream, James, that I could lose my voice. I think this is one of the streams I'm about to lose my voice because there's so much going on.
I hope not. I really hope not. We need you for Saturday. Cameron Dowds there is leading the way. 6/10 of a second. Cazzizzle there in second. Nando there in third. Nando just beginning to drop off. His ERS is very concerning compared to Cazzizzle and Cameron Dowds ahead. GL has got more ERS. Double the amount of ERS, in fact, and he's on all the tyres, so Gilles is going to be right there. But Cameron Dowds leading the race win. Is now the Brit going to attack the Scotsman down in towards turn number 1. The final 5.5 kilometres of this race about to begin here at the Temple of Speed. They speed on the way down in towards turn number 1. It's Cazzizzle too far back to attack Cameron Dowds. He's using all of that battery up to good effect. There's the speed kicking in. Here he comes to the outside line in towards turn number 1, and he passes him as in the blinking of an eye.
Nice.
Gets the race lead. Has he got the car stopped? Yes, he has. Cazzizzle doing he's into the race lead. Cameron Dowds, though, can now can save his battery and can really come back at him in the second half of this lap. GL and Nando, third and fourth. GL is running side by side with Nando as they come through Curva Grande, Curva Biasono, in towards turn number 4, and GL now ahead of Nando. Nando wanting that DRS advantage. The end of the race. This race is now beginning to kick into overdrive in terms of this, but Cazzizzle the Brit leading the race. Cameron Dowds in second. This is an absolute brilliant race. Is Cameron going to have one more opportunity though? He could have 2. Is his first going to be down in towards Ascari? Here comes the speed kicking in again. He is. The Scotsman's going to pass him. Surely down the hill in towards Ascari.
He's got more battery.
Going to be job done for Cameron Dowds. He's got more battery, but now Cazzizzle's got more battery and he's got slightly less fuel. So this is going to come into Cazzizzle's favour on the up in towards Parabolica. Cameron Dowds leading the race. Cazzizzle in second. Cazzizzle dragging into this. Is it like Qatar from last season? Is he going to look up for the last lap move? Cazzizzle to the inside line. Can't get the job done. Is the Scotsman going to hang on for his first PSF1 race win? Cameron Dowds and Cazzizzle on the run to the line. Cameron Dowds does it. He wins in PSF1. It's the 6th winner out of 6 different races. Cameron Dowds wins. Cazzizzle in second, Gilles in third. Cazzizzle would have wanted that straight to be 50 yards longer, and that's all it would have took for him to win the race. Cameron Dowds wins, Cazzizzle second, the old master and Gilles in third. Fantastic end to that race. Well done to every single driver out there. Ryan and Benza very close in the background as well for 9th and 10th. But Cameron wins, Cazzizzle second, Gilles in third. The young pretender beats the old protagonist, beats the old god.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. Gil and Wiener gaining the most positions in this race, up 8 positions. Ryan up 6, so he's been flying under the radar for us, but he's got some points. Ryder doing very well as well, and Keke, even though he started 4th, he's remains in the points too. Cameron Dowds, this is what you want to show after going back to PSF1, that he hasn't lost his spark on the PlayStation, and the game has given the driver of the day to Gil. I think one of my drivers of the days have got to go to Gil, but it's a tight show also between Cameron Dowds because they kept it clean throughout, and that is pure respect between the both of them. That is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see that grow next week when we go into Singapore. We had no safety car as well. To be honest, it's been one of the races of the season. It really has.
It has. The steward reports might tell a different story from
Yeah,
what
there
we
was
saw.
there was a few incidents, even though it wasn't safety cars. There were quite a few incidents.
Yeah, it'll be similar. I think it'll be very similar, to be honest, to how Austria was last week in
Yes.
terms of the incidents. But Cameron Dowds doesn't care. Cameron Dowds takes the race win. The Scotsman, he picked up a podium back in season 33, I think it was, of PCF1. I think it was in Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was Spain.
And he takes a race win on his return.
It was on the intro
to
as well.
PlayStation.
It was on the intro as well.
It was on the intro. It was on the intro, and how about that? He's done his father very, very proud. I can definitely tell you that. Cameron Dodge the wins, Kazizel second, GL there in third, but Markedos in fourth. Where did Markedos come from and all of that as well? Aurelian in fifth, Wiener in sixth, Keki there in seventh, or KK there in seventh, Ronadal in eighth, Ryan in ninth, Benza ran off the top 10, Nando, my pick, you can forget about him, Marlon, Stefano, Volakongan, and Stefano, the F7 man in 15th, Erpek, Corey, Jerome, Francesco, and Tom, a race to forget after a bit of contact. Everyone finished, though, apart from Tom, I think. Very, very good from everyone out on track. But Cameron Dowds, the young pretender, takes the race win. Kazizel's been around the block quite a while here in PSF1. He finishes in second. And the old guard, the old champion, Jill, finishing third. And if that is not to warm your heart and your cockles, we've got Singapore to come up next week. It's going to be very, very good to see how the racing progresses from that.
I'm looking at the chat right now, James, and Cameron's dad found that race very, very stressful. To be honest, I would find it very stressful if your family member or even your friend is leading a race. One of my friends was watching me leading a race, even though I was dominating, and he was still very nervous. So it doesn't matter if you're attempts behind or even like 20 seconds behind. It's still very nerve-wracking to watch someone you know do that. And Cameron Dowd has done a fantastic job. And he climbed his way up through the championship as well. He scored some decent points throughout, and he's going to climb his way to the top half of the championship as well. Kazizel, do you think he's going to be near the front of the championship? I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell. But with Erpek not scoring much today, and with his main rivals scoring today, I think we could be in for an interesting race next week, going into one of the longest races of the season before the Christmas break.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be... Kazizel, by the way, he's just mentioned in the Discord that he was racing with a headache. And I want to go to bed. And I think coming up that short and him having a headache, that is fair play for him racing. Obviously under the weather, obviously a little bit ill. Fair play to him racing. And 600ths of a second behind Cameron Dowd is not going to make his night in bed any smoother at all. He is going to be wishing that straight was 50 yards longer in terms of the racing. But we should hear from Cameron Dowd. He is waiting for us in the waiting room if we do want to get him in.
I will change scenes. And by the way, you can tell Kazizel that I predicted him for the win. So he's probably going to hate me. But anyway.
He will hate you even more for him finishing second now, definitely. GLGL is also with us in the waiting room. So whenever you are ready, Jess.
I've been ready for like 10 seconds.
I can't even see. Right, anyways, we will get them in. There is one. And I've got to get the other one in. There is the other. So where do we start with that? Fantastic racing out on track. Cameron Dowd, we're going to come to you first. The old guard, the Flying Scotsman 2.0, as I nickname you right now. Race winner in PSF1. How good does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's only took like 2 years.
Only took him 2 years. I'm not sure if we're having a bit of interference or whatever there, or if he can still hear us.
No, he just
still here?
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah, he's still here.
He just said it's only been 2 years and that's it. Don't panic, James.
It has been 2 years. That podium in PCF1, I think, really brings to mind. It was mentioned in the intro for season 35. That podium. But now you've gone 2 places better. You've gone that race win here in PlayStation on your return. And with Kazizel behind you as well, it was a really, really heavily fought final lap of the race. Talk us through it, because I nearly lost my voice at the end of that race.
Yeah, the qualifying was alright. I got in a really good medal lap, but then the final lap, I mucked up my last sector on my mid session lap. If I hadn't mucked it up, I think it would have been pole. I think, but it is what it is. And then in the race, yeah, it was really good. There wasn't like one mistake really. It was just trying to keep the pace up on the softs and trying to keep the others behind, which worked. And then I didn't know. I expected the overcutters to be a lot more. I think it was just Guel that we were really worried about. I expected the overcutters to be like up there, and then yeah, the last lap was fun. I didn't expect to have that much overspeed on Cazezzo going into Ascari, but I don't know what happened, but I just had a ton of overspeed and I managed to get him back. After he passed me on the straight, I didn't think I'd be able to get him back, but I'm really happy that I did.
I'm really happy that you did as well. And Cazezzo obviously came back at you going into the final couple of corners. It was only 63 hundredths of a second between you both as well. But for, I think, Team Shazoo, a 1-2 finish as well. I know there's a lot that goes into behind the scenes in terms of the team. Would you like to thank anyone right now? Because I know Ron is probably egging me right now to say thank you very much to him.
Yeah, Ron, Cherno, just everyone really. Cherno for the setups, and then yeah, the engineers and Ron and that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't realise sometimes, Jess, that it is an individual championship, but there's a team effort that goes into every single driver on this grid, and it's fantastic to get the recognition, I think, from the team perspective as well. Jess, I'm going to hand it over to you. Any questions?
Yes, first of all, Cameron, it's nice to commentate on your race win in PSF1. It's great to see. You started off with 3 points going into tonight, and now you're going to end up on 19 points. So you're probably going to be near the top half of the standings, which is great to see. Singapore next week, longest track on the calendar. A, have you gone well before? And B, what do you think of the new layout, the removal of that chicane? Does it make for better racing, or do you prefer it the old layout? And how do you think you're going to do next week?
I really enjoy Singapore. I like a long race too. I think it's better. I
Nice.
the new layout's quite a lot better as well. I hated the last sector before, but I think it's a lot better now. I like the track a lot more now. So yeah, I'm excited for that. See what happens.
Make that 2, because I like Singapore on this game. It's brilliant. That's the questions for me, James.
Make that 3 as well, because I love Singapore on this game as well. But Cameron Dowds, congratulations on that race win. Go and give your dad of yours a big hug from that, because
If you haven't already,
right now.
If you haven't already.
If he hasn't already.
Yeah, I'll go talk to him after this.
Woo!
Very good. Go and enjoy your evening.
Right, cheers. See you there.
Very welcome indeed. And now we can speak to the man who returns to the PSGL podium for the first time since, I think, season 26 or season 27. The former PSF1 champion, GL, the old guard, has returned. P3 out on track. Talk us through it, because you were a silent assassin that race.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, because I was, I guess, P14 first lap. It was very complicated. I was busy every time. So yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy, but you've been knocking on the door in other leagues. You've been knocking and showing your pace from G League as well. And I think since joining that team, you have really, really grown as a driver. You're back to your brilliant best. Yeah, it might have been a little bit lucky, bit fortunate that P3, but it's absolutely deserving, because you drove that race really strongly at the end. And obviously with Kazizel and Cameron, were you thinking to yourself, you know what, I could be on for a P1 here if these two collide?
Yeah, I could have done something, because I had more ERS than them, but they were too calm. So I'm disappointed.
If the race was a bit longer, I think he would have got them both. And it needs to be like 30 laps or something for Gilles for Italy, and to try and get his revenge. Yeah, 75% or 60%, 70%, something like that for him. But a fantastic P3 from yourself, Gilles. Jess, any questions?
Yes, this is a throwback, isn't it, for you being on the podium in PSGL? It's great to talk to you again, Gil. Next week we got...
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's great. I think it was PSF2 that I last commentated on you a while back. Anyway, Singapore next week. I'm going to ask the same question as what I asked Cameron. A, do you prefer the old layout or the new layout? And are you looking forward to next week?
The old layout was very interesting, so I prefer the old one.
Fair enough.
I'm still a reserve, so I don't know if I will
yeah,
be
you were
here
reserve, aren't you? I
next
completely
week.
forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't practice for this race.
And you
But
still finished
yeah,
third.
Yes, obviously. But Singapore is it's the track of Nando, so it will be his race.
Oh, so that's a statement. That's a prediction from Gil there. So hopefully we could see you there. If not, we'll hopefully see you in another PSGL race soon. James, do you have any final thoughts on Gil before we wrap up?
Apart from we'll put in a good word for Connor if you can get a full-time seat in PSF1. He deserves it after that he deserves it after that P3, certainly. Go and enjoy your evening, Gil.
Thank you very much.
Right
Very
then.
welcome indeed, and that concludes the interviews.
That does include the interviews, and it was. I think it was a happy podium. Not gonna lie, we had Cameron taking his first PSF1 win, Gil taking his first podium in PSF1 for quite a long time. There was just quite a lot of great things that happened, quite a lot of battles. We could see the same stewards reports for what we saw in Austria, but overall, I enjoyed that race, and I was predicting chaos going into this. I wasn't expecting less chaos than tonight, so fair play to the drivers.
Yeah, very fair play to the drivers. I mean, I predicted off air that we were going to get 4 safety cars, so really glad that we didn't get any at all. No VSCs even to speak about as well. Fantastic, though, in terms of the top 3. Some unlucky stories as well. I think Aurelian was a little bit lucky. He was right up there in the vanguard at the end of the race. KK was very unlucky as well, finishing P7. I think that commentator's curse definitely coming back to haunt him. The Finn. Rodadal drove well as well. Remember, he was P13 in qualifying. He went P8 in the end. Fantastic drive for him. Bender Nando, very unlucky as well. Bender especially, because he qualified first and ended up all the way down the field with him staying out that extra few laps. Very costly for him. Tom Yaron, very unlucky in terms of contact. Francesco as well. Stefano. Plenty of unlucky stories. I don't think the top 3 will care about the unlucky stories, though, in this race, because they drove phenomenally well. And, of course, Singapore next week, Jess. We cannot wait to go around there. It is the track of Nando. I might have got it wrong a week earlier. Is he going to win next week? Your best place to tune in is 8 p.m. UK time next week. And, of course, more action to come on the PSGL channel, including an E-Series race, I believe, on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what race that is, but I'm not going to say because I'm worried I'll get it wrong. So make sure you do check that out on Wednesday evening when Nathan Richards and Joshua Birch take you through the action on that one. Not that long to go till the end of the season, and plenty of teams that can still win the title. I do believe Ferrari is leading that championship, and I won't be surprised if they're one step closer to taking that title very soon indeed. And of course, we've got the PC guys taking you through their Singapore action on Thursday. And then we're back on Monday at 8 p.m. UK time for Singapore. You don't want to miss it. So that is us done then for PSF1. Final plug for our sponsors, GT Omega, 5% all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. And you can click on the link in the description, or you could use the command _GT Omega. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at PremierSimGL. We keep you up to date on all the latest PSGL news, and you'll keep you up to date on what's going on. Follow us on Discord and subscribe to us on YouTube as well. The next action on the PSGL channel tomorrow is GT7. So if you are interested in some GT7 content, make sure you check that out. Don't ask me what time it is because I don't know. I don't deal with the GT7 stuff. I mainly deal with F1. But for myself and James, we'll see you same time next week. Let's hope Singapore delivers just like Monza tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.
Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.